What's up, traders? My name is Vincent Mokotedi, the founder of Vinboss Signal Factory with over 7 years of proven trading results. I am the only trader who trades publicly with my community. Every single trade, wins and losses included. No hiding, no manipulation, just transparency and real trading results. Furthermore, I would like to tell you that I've already built a Telegram and a WhatsApp community filled with serious traders only. The best part is it's free to join. All you need to do is number 1, register with XNS under our exclusive link. Number 2, verify your trading account. Number 3, fund at least $100. Some traders are funding $1,000 to enjoy higher profits. When you fund, you will get to receive the following that I will mention. Firstly, it will be the weekly forex forecast of all the major pairs, gold and silver included, daily signals and analysis for London and New York sessions, fundamental news breakdown on major economic events. You will get again a course called Beginner to Pro Ultimate Course for both beginners and struggling traders seeking consistency. Proven strategies tested and verified by myself and other professional traders. One-on-one mentorship where you can request personal attention to deepen your price action and signal understanding. But that's not all. If you are not registered with us or you're not ready to switch over to XNS as of yet, you would still receive daily analysis of 6 pairs only, which includes the euro dollar, the pound and the dollar, the euro Canadian dollar, the pound Canadian dollar, the euro and the pound, and last but not least, the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. You will only receive the London session analysis only. That is a limited access that we give to those who are not with us. So don't miss out on all the full access to premium trading education, signals, and membership. After funding, send proof of registration to WhatsApp 068 060 5332 for instant access to everything. So traders, first things first, as always, we have to deal with the euro and the dollar. And with the euro and the dollar and most of the currency pairs that we were dealing with, everything happened exactly as we said it would happen. So let's go straight to the market to see what truly happened yesterday. Now, as you remember from the opening of Monday, everything was still going to give us this bottom right here to retest the demand zone, the first or the second demand zone, and then look for continuation to the upside, right? Now, with that being said, that's exactly what has happened, but I would like us to take a look at what happened yesterday, of course. And yesterday, with the CPI and the job data coming out, the job data came out worse than it was expected. Hence, we saw this choppiness around because the CPI printed moderate printing, and I remember it was the core CPI which has outperformed, of course, the market expectations. So, in some traders, in some traders' mind, this was their expectation because the CPI was better than expected, of course. But we did discuss this, that the market is going to be choppier for the first hour or so, and then so we let it, and then as soon as we tried to make a new high, we had already put a buy stop, and we are currently in a trade. Now, what do I want to see, or what do I believe? I believe we are just testing these levels, or if we were to get deeper, this would also come to a level of 1.1715. Now, this would be the second place to look for buying opportunities, of course, to take out our profit right here at 1.1780. Now, this is a fantastic trade from yesterday because of the job data coming out, or the labor market coming out weaker than it was expected. Remember, The Fed had already mentioned that they would be cutting of rates. The NFP came out and printed the worst printing maybe this year. And right now, the labor market has just shown that there are increased people who are looking for more jobs than there was last month, which means the labor market is declining. Hence, we are now buying the euro against the dollar, which is something that was expected from the beginning of market. So one thing I would like to mention to highlight is that if your trading or your technical analysis matches the fundamental analysis, nothing can go wrong. I hope that makes sense. But if fundamental analysis says this and your technical analysis says this, then something is wrong, or the trade is not going to be a smooth one, or you are most definitely going to lose that trade. So this is what I do expect from today. Maybe a deeper pullback to retest 1.1715 and then a continuation to the upside to take profit right here at 1.1780. This also would be one of those trades we will make 1:8.48. 1:8.48%, not 1:3. Do you realize the kind of signals that we do give out with our real account traders community? And we did go, of course, for this new high. We tried to be aggressive. Some people who follow the strategy to the people would go to this one, but I'm more optimistic that the dollar might fall today, or if we do not reach this target today, but on Monday, we might continue to reach this target. So without wasting further time, of course, we've already broken even on this trade, and we do not believe that we might see this continue to test the demand zone again to the upside. It's already the last days of the week. So without wasting further time, let's go over to the pound and the dollar. So traders, this is the pound and the dollar, and with the pound and the dollar, it's very similar to what we discussed. I remember I did mention this white line here because the pound is relatively stronger than the euro, and I did not expect it to come and reach the first demand zone and the second demand zone. But if you are paying close attention to these videos that I'm doing, you would understand that this is a very important level that we did mention with the real traders, community yesterday. And then with that being said, yes, of course, it's 1.3505. I did mention it. If you did miss this, go to our video yesterday and see what we were talking about. So very similar to the dollar, to the euro and the dollar, we did want to see this do a double bottom, of course, break to the upside, a retest of this level right here, and then after the retest of this level 1.3545, and then a bullish momentum will come to take our take profit right here at 1.3590. This would be our take profit of the new high. This trade is more or less 1:4.21. This is exactly what you want to be part of. This is exactly the type of trade that we did. And of course, you need we entered with a kind of entry style that is called buy stop. So as soon as price reached our price, and then the market just activated. That was it, and it was fantastic yesterday, of course. And some of you traders, I could not answer your calls yesterday. Of course, I was busy. I was live on this side and had to deal with personal matters, so I could not take all the calls. I'm sorry for those of you who I did not take the calls of. It was nothing personal. I just couldn't take them. So, traders, with that being said, this is the pound and the dollar. So, this is exactly what do I expect to see today. What I expect to see is the bounce from this structure to the upside and a take profit to this. Of course, we have already breaking even on this level right here because we do not want to see this coming down and happening, because yesterday's CPI was better than expected, but we went straight after the job data and the expectation of the Fed to cut rates going into September. So with that being said, this would be our break even, and this is still what I'm expecting to go to the upside. Now, without wasting ample time on the pound and the dollar, I would like us to go straight to the euro and the Canadian dollar. And traders, with the euro and the Canadian dollar, what we did have is a same thing. Nothing has been really moving for this pair from yesterday up until tomorrow, but what do I still expect? I expect to see this take us to the upside to make that double bottom, that inverse double bottom that we will be having. So without wasting further time, this is a boring trade because we've been into this trade since yesterday and we do not see anything. This, and worst part, this is a 1:3 trade. This is what we try to get out safely as much as we could, or as much as we can, on this setup, but it's a boring trade. Sometimes you take boring trades, nothing wrong with it. I do also want to remind you guys that we will not be dealing with the euro, sorry, not the euro rather, but the pound and the Canadian dollar, as we have already taken profit on Tuesday this week. So the last, not only the pound and the Canadian dollar, but the dollar and the Canadian dollar too. But we would only be dealing with the last pair after this boring one, which is the euro and the pound, which is also boring. But nonetheless, it is what it is. I still do expect to see this go to the upside to take out 1:3 so that we can just rest. This is boring. We don't want to see a trade this boring for this long. It's actually annoying. So it is the price action though. We don't have to close it as soon as we feel uncomfortable. We follow the strategy to the letter of all the rules. So without wasting further time, this is the euro and the Canadian dollar. We go to the last currency pair, which is now the euro and the pound. And last but not least, it is our euro and the pound. Remember, yesterday we did have a buy signal from these levels, saying that it would be the last buy signal. If we were to get invalidated from these levels, of course we would come down, and I did mention that 1.8660, it would be a great place to look for. After we reach that, we break even. We did not reach that before we got invalidated, of course, but it did reach. And then after the reach, what do I think would happen right now? Right now, structure wise, I think we are now structured to the downside. I think even going into next week, we might start to see the pound being the favorite more than the euro, but it is what it is for this week. We have never had a successful trade on this. We had 1, we had 2, and we had 3. And another thing that we did mention, I would like to mention, is this: the weekly break of structure. Of course, we had been invalidated because the market was heading for the weekly break of structure. But what do I expect next? I expect to see not 1 for that matter, but 0.8660 as a second retest, and then one more downward movement is coming, and it can either be 1:3 or to retest this to take the new low. But if this does not happen today, from next week, this is the levels that we'll be looking to sell this from. One thing we have to remind ourselves is that we do not have to fight the market. Still try to prove that it is a buy. When somebody sees this pattern, is going for this. Why are you not going for that? Because I'm not revenge trading. Personally, I'm not revenge trading. That means the structure itself has changed, and after the structure has changed, what I would like to see is this retest, and then after the retest, a continuation to the downside. It will play out like this because the structure has already said so and given you the confirmation. What we do is follow the structure. We cannot lead the structure, because leading the structure is buying from here with the expectations that We might even go higher than the open of the week. It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be like that. It never should be like that. But without wasting further time, this is the euro and the pound for me, and it is evident even when you check the euro and the pound. You see that the pound is strong. Let me just make it like this. In the euro and the pound is strong. In the euro and the dollar, the euro is strong, but it's not that strong. That's why I'm making it small. But in the pound and the euro, the pound is very strong. In the euro and the Canadian dollar, the euro is bullish to neutral. It's not that strong, it's bullish to neutral. So I will give it also a small tick, just like I've given the euro against the dollar. But with the pound and the Canadian dollar, the pound is strong. Now the pound has already taken profit on Tuesday, whilst we got break even from the first trade that we did take from the euro and the Canadian dollar. Now what does this tell you? It tells you that the pound is more stronger in relation with the euro, or versus the euro, or in relation with the pairs that they are currently paired against on YouTube right now. This is something that I'm trying to show you, that the pound is stronger than the euro is compared to the Canadian dollar. The pound is stronger than the euro in comparison with the US dollar, and the pound is stronger, like you can see right here on the charts. If I remove everything, the pound is stronger than the euro that you see right now, versus the pound is strong versus the euro in relation to its strength. That's why I'm expecting to see this as 1:3. I change with the structure, guys. I change with the structure, and all the time when the structure is changing, I adapt real quick. Because if you cannot adapt real quick, that means you will be left behind, or reverse trading, or trying to prove the point to the market that this is still a buy, whereas it has changed to selling opportunities being more favorable than the buying opportunities. So that's it with the analysis of today. So thanks for watching this video. Make sure you like, you subscribe, and after liking and subscribing, make sure you click the notification bell so that every video that gets uploaded on YouTube, you do not miss it. And it is important that you watch the videos every day